Hi everyone, here's my final thoughts on the game that I've been playing, Aspern-Essling. It is a game published by Hexasim. It is in French, but don't let that put you off if you are not a French reader, because you can download the player aid in English from the designer's website. You can download the rulebook in English. Now I've been using the 2021 rules of play that I got in another game, but you can download that from the designer's site, and you can also download the specific rules in English as well. So there's a little bit of downloading to do, but don't let any of that put you off. In terms of the components, it is a card folio game, I would call it, and it's not all going to go back into that. So you're going to need to put it in a large baggie or whatever you'd like. The counters themselves, you can see in the AARs that I've done, they look great. The artwork is great. Everything's very clear on the counters. The same with the map. I love the maps in this series. I love the counters in this series as well. They clip very nicely. They all looks great on the table. It's not a large physical game. I think you can probably see on the camera. It's not a physically large game, which is true actually of most of the games in this series as well. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot of gameplay within it. There's a great sense of movement. All the combat mechanics are very streamlined and elegant. Artillery, cavalry, how you use foot, forming squares, charging, counter-charging, all that Napoleonic flavour is there in the game. It's not a hugely complicated game for me, and I've talked about this in other reviews I've done of games in this series. It probably sits comfortably in the medium complexity. I think with a smaller battle, I could probably show someone how to play this and have fun with someone new, who's new to the system, and they would have fun comfortably in an evening. But especially with the historical scenarios, there's a huge amount to master, I feel. So the games, and this game in particular, has a lot of depth. Now in my playthroughs, we had a great sense of drama, a great narrative that played out in the game. I was playing the game solo, and it solos quite well. There's no solo bot or anything like that. You are playing both sides to the best of their abilities. But I found that naturally the game had a great pace. I can imagine playing, when I've played it 2 players, because it's a chit pull system, it's quite quick for your turn before the other players, and backwards and forwards, depending on the chit that gets pulled. There are quite a lot of chits in the cup to be pulled per turn, so it does take a little while. The first scenario you could probably play in an evening. The second, or the first day I should say, the second day took a bit longer. I played it over a few evenings at a fairly leisurely pace. I would add to that. But that's generally how I play these types of Napoleonic war games. I tend to leave them set up. Because it's physically not too big, it's quite easy to do that. And because of the chip pull system, it's very easy when you're playing solo to do a few activations, walk away and do whatever else you have to do, and then come back and do a few more activations, or do a full turn or 2, however you like to play. And the game lends itself very well to that. It is a game system that I've reviewed multiple times now on my channel, and it's a system that I am familiar with and that I really enjoy, and I feel is a good flavour of Napoleonic wargaming, with all the different mechanics and the historical scenarios that are there. So if you've got any games in this system, for me this is a no-brainer. The only thing I would say is this is not in print. So I managed to pick up a copy off another gamer on BGG, and I often keep an eye on what games come up second-hand and used on Board Game Geek in this series. So that's probably the only thing. I wish they were more in print, more readily available. You might be able to track a copy down on eBay or again on BGG, I don't know. But that's probably the only consideration I would have. And when you're entering a new Napoleonic system, being able to get hold of the games, I think, is a contributing factor. There are other games in this series that you can get hold of course, but this one took me a little while to sort of hunt down a copy. But what a great drama and story I had in the game that I played. So I was a very, very enjoyable, or had a very enjoyable few evenings gaming this system, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's a great battle. It is a great historical moment in the Napoleonics, and in my playthrough, definitely the French ended up with the upper hand, which is interesting. And I feel that you could play it multiple times and get a slightly different outcome, depending on, and it's somewhat depending on the luck because of the chits and the mechanics, and it is still a dice game at the end of the day, and a very enjoyable one at that. You will need to provide yourself with a D10, but it's not a heavy dice rolling game. I would say, and all the mechanics sort of make sense. How the artillery works, how what they call shot combat, which is basically one counter attacking another counter. And I've done other reviews where I talk more about the mechanics, but it is definitely sits in that sort of medium complexity. So a big thumbs up for me. I really do like this system. I've got quite a few games in it, and I've always enjoyed playing it. I love big, 2 or 3 map games, but I do really like the fact that what makes this different is the smaller footprint, but you still get that sense of movement. You still get that sense of being able to weaken the enemy, or one side weakening the other, forming squares, cavalry charges. It's got all that drama, which is one of the things I love about the historical period. So yeah, big thumbs up for me. And please check out the AARs I've done of this game. Please check out the other videos I've done of this game series. And thanks for watching as ever. Thank you.